Last year, Gamescom had some pretty big reveals like Dead Island 2, The Lords of the Fallen and more. We also got a brand new Hogwarts Legacy trailer, so overall it was a pretty good show. And this year's show, starting on August 22nd, promises a lot of exciting things as well. We'll be getting a new look at Assassin's Creed Mirage during opening night live, as confirmed by Jeff Keighley, which of course recently had its release date moved to a week earlier on October 5th. But with Ubisoft also on the show floor, I think Prince of Persia The Lost Crown could make an appearance too. With a planned release date in January 2024, this and the Game Awards are pretty much your only options to grab a lot of attention. And of course, if it's still aiming for the target date of the 7th of December 2023, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora is a likely candidate as well. Although, considering how little updates we've had on the game, especially when compared to other Ubisoft titles, I'm a bit worried a delay might be on the horizon. Jordan actually also mentioned this in a video that I will link to in the video description. Another confirmed title for the opening night live is Alan Wake 2. The game has shown off some very interesting gameplay features already, like a dual protagonist system and a mind place for Detective Saga Anderson, where she can review and connect evidence for the cases she's investigating. But the Gamescom showing will actually focus on Alan's side of the story. He's been stuck in the nightmarish alternate dimension known as the Dark Place, so expect his side of the story, and the gameplay we'll be seeing to get a lot weirder. We're also getting a new look at Black Myth Wukong, the incredible looking action RPG based on the Chinese novel Journey to the West. I think the combat in this game looks incredible, with Wukong's extending staff giving you access to some crazy attacks, and on top of that you have magic attacks and the ability to transform into different creatures, including enemies as well. And like God of War, this action-packed combat also has some RPG systems behind it, with different equipable armor pieces and core stats to craft your own build. With the game planned for a summer 2024 release, now would be a good time to get it back on people's radar, and Jeff Keighley said the trailer they're premiering is fire, so I think we have something good to look forward to. And while recording for this video, Mortal Kombat 1 and Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty were also confirmed, adding even more big titles to an already stacked show. Next to that, the upcoming open world action RPG Crimson Desert from Pearl Abyss is also a lock for opening night live, as a trailer at Gamescom was literally mentioned in the studio's plans for Q3 of this year. We haven't heard much about the game since reports of a delay in 2021, but it seems the team is finally ready to reveal more. The combat system already looked very good in the earlier material, so I'm excited for this new showing, as I imagine it will look even better now. Also confirmed to make an appearance are Troy Baker, Roger Clark and Julia Brown to promote Fort Solis, which is coming out on the same day as the opening night. The game was originally revealed during Summer Games Fest 2022, with Troy and Roger on the stage with Jeff Keighley as well, so it feels like a nice full circle moment for this narrative sci-fi thriller, with what I'm assuming will be a release trailer to drop during opening night. And speaking of last year, Sony surprised us during Gamescom 2022 with the new DualSense Edge controller. So while they won't be joining on the Gamescom show floor, I don't think we should rule out the possibility of Sony dropping an announcement during the opening night live. There's a lot of hardware in the works, like the Access controller, Project Q, and that new PS5 version with detachable disk drive that leaked recently, so we can definitely see something similar as last year. But there are definitely some games that could show up as well. Spider-Man 2 of course being the big one, which also showed up at Summer Games Fest. But Sony also has two other games planned for 2023, those being Helldivers 2 and Stellar Blade. I think Helldivers 2 is the most likely to show up, with recent leaks hinting at an October release, which means now would be the time to tell us more about it. The Korean developed Stellar Blade seems like a better fit for the Tokyo Game Show in September, where there is a bigger focus on Asian developers. And remember, 2 years back, Gamescom is where Guerrilla chose to reveal the release date for Horizon Forbidden West. We do know the studio has various unannounced projects in the works, including a Zero Dawn remake and a multiplayer project in the Horizon universe, so there is a possibility one of those gets a proper announcement here. I do want to set your expectations right though, as in an interview with VGC, Jeff Keighley mentioned that this year's ONL is less about announcing brand new projects and more about giving fans updates on some of the biggest games due out over the next year. So while that does not exclude Helldivers or Stellar Blade, it makes a Horizon related announcement pretty unlikely. But whether Sony shows up or not, the biggest presence on Gamescom will without a doubt be Xbox. We know there will be a presentation for Starfield on the show floor, so you would hope they show us a trailer as well during during opening night live. I don't know about you, but I feel that it's high time for a combat deep dive of some sort, because that is definitely an aspect of the game I still have a lot of questions about. Stalker 2 will also make an appearance on the show floor with a playable demo no less, so I very much expect a new trailer and an update on the release date. Recent rumors mentioned an early December release, which means there should be a lot to talk about. Another big Xbox title I can see make an appearance is Hellblade 2. While the game was not mentioned in Xbox plans, Melina Jurgens, who portrays Senua, will be attending Gamescom, which definitely means there could be some Hellblade related announcements during the show. And we can expect way more at Gamescom. Of course, if you've been enjoying the video so far, then leaving a like would really help us out. Subscribe for more Gamescom coverage and check the pinned comment for a link to our live reaction of the opening night live so you can watch it with us. Next to being featured during the opening night live show, the Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty DLC will also be playable at the Xbox booth. Which means that next to the new DLC gameplay during opening night live, I'm expecting tons of new details from previews, especially about the massive overhaul the game will receive, with many of the changes also impacting the base game. Which makes sense given the DLC and the update are coming out really soon. The same is true for Armored Core 6, which again will be playable at the Xbox booth on the show floor. The game is actually launching during Gamescom on the 25th, so a launch trailer or new gameplay details would certainly be welcome right before release. And with Bandai Namco showing up, there is of course the possibility that we finally get an update on the Elden Ring DLC Shadow of the Erdtree. I personally doubt we get to see it at Gamescom, but I hope I'm wrong. Next to these big publishers and titles, there are also some exciting games that were revealed last year that could definitely show up again. High on that list is Where Winds Meet, an open world action RPG that takes place during the Chinese period of the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms. The previous trailer already showed some impressive combat and exploration, but players should have much more freedom in the finished project. You can become a doctor and help NPCs with healing, an architect, a bodyguard, the list seems pretty endless. NetEase has already confirmed that press can expect an exclusive preview on the show floor, but that does not exclude a new look at the game during opening night live. In a similar vein, Weird Song, the first title from Obsidian and Bethesda veteran studio Something Wicked, has been quiet for a while. But the last developer update from May 11 did mention they were making big steps towards finalizing the visual style of the game, so another teaser trailer is definitely possible. We also had 2 Souls-like games that took the stage last year, Lords of the Fallen and Lies of P, and with their release dates in October and September respectively, now would be a great time for some extra publicity. While the release date is a bit further away, a similar thing can be said for Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn. Last year we got a gameplay trailer, and although the latest news we got on the game was a delay to 2024, that update from June 16th also mentions updates coming soon. And well, we haven't heard anything since, so it is certainly possible that A44 Games has been keeping quiet for this exact moment. Now I want to go back to that VGC interview I mentioned earlier, as Jeff also mentioned that the team is looking to create synergy between what's happening on the floor and inside ONL. So by looking at the list of attendees for Gamescom, I think we can make some very educated guesses as to what games we'll see during opening night live. Focus Entertainment has a booth on the show floor, for instance, and they have 2 exciting titles that should still release this year. The first is Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, the latest project from Life is Strange developer Don't Nod. You play as a pair of ghost hunters investigating the haunted community of New Eden. The twist here is that one of these ghost hunters has actually turned into a ghost herself, allowing you to swap between the two and combo their abilities on demand. Next to that, Focus also has Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2 planned for release this winter, so now would be a perfect time for a release date reveal. The game is really embracing the massive scope and brutality of the 40k universe, and I'm especially excited about the 3-player co-op campaign that is new for the sequel. And while Jeff did say the show is less about announcing brand new projects, that does of course not mean we don't get to see any new game announcements. There is one studio in particular that I think has to show something new, and that is 4A Games. These are the developers of the Metro trilogy, and Metro Exodus, which released in 2019, was the last project they worked on. So the Exodus sequel they've been working on, as announced on the the 10th anniversary of the series should be pretty far into development. Earlier this year, Tom Henderson already reported the studio has a fully playable version of the sequel, also saying that the game could be revealed later this year with a tentative release window of 2024. So with 4A Games being at Gamescom, you'd have to imagine we get a sneak peek at what's next. The Metro games have always been really visually impressive, and I cannot wait to see what a fully next-gen entry will look like. And more leaks point towards a surprisingly big presence for LEGO games on Gamescom, believe it or not. We have many leaks that there is a LEGO soccer game called LEGO 2K Goal in the works. And thanks to a leaked image on Instagram, we also know there's a LEGO Harry Potter announcement, which I'm guessing will be something similar to 2021 Skywalker Saga. Let me know what you're looking forward to seeing at Gamescom. Again, a link to our live reaction is in the pinned comment, and remember to subscribe for more Gamescom coverage. A like on this video would be awesome, and you can watch the previous Sunday video where we go over more Gamescom related topics by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.